I can't believe I got to do a collab with Dawko! Let's check the comments again. Dawko, slowly becoming a critic. Andy, mission complete. Oh my gosh, yes! 1350. On the right, I drew my version. Arrow points left? And on the left, I drew... Wait, no. There's no way I'd make a mistake like that. Right? On the right, I drew my version. And on the left... Bro, you thought that comment was shocking? Check this out. Can you make a video playing Surprise Eggs Freddy toys? In that very moment, I begun to write this video. When you see a title as glorious as this, and then find out it's actually real, it's like winning the lottery of laughter. There's no way I could pass this up. And upon further investigation, I found many, many more disturbingly amazing titles in the wild, wild west of the Google Play Store. 8 Horror Nights at School! Hungry Evil Nights at Cube Moon Pizzeria. And best of all, Freddy Pony Memory Game? So many travesties, so little time! Let's not hesitate to download the first chunk of moldy pizza onto my innocent tablet. I'm sorry, buddy. While that's downloading, let's download 50 more. On my adventure in the realm of crappy FNAF games, I started to discover a pattern into which many of these games fell into. You had your Minecraft, your ponies, your face morphing, which I guess just replaces your selfie with a screenshot of a character. Groundbreaking stuff, guys. But then you have the interesting games, the ones that'll surely be the meat of this video. Ones that seem to be fan games or cash grabs. And to get us off on the right start, let's try out one of those. We'll save surprise eggs for a bit later. And in case you haven't noticed, this isn't going to be about some of the better fan games, such as Candies and Pop Goes. No, today we are scraping the crusty, gunky bottom of the barrel. My favorite. Let's load up our first bad boy, Zoolax 1 Free. Ooh boy, the screenshots for this game are everything. If you're scared of clowns, then you came to the wrong channel. Click here to skip ahead. Now, I did mention that this video won't be including any good FNAF games, but in all actuality, we might just find one by accident. Though, I'm not sure Zoolax is going to fit that description. What the heck does Zoolax even mean? Is it where all the animals in the zoo are given laxatives? If that's the case, this is going to be the poopiest game I've ever played. But surprisingly, this game has an insane amount of 5-star reviews. What? King Michael says, I think it's the best game ever, and it should maybe be the new Five Nights at Freddy's. To be honest, this one is better. Right. Well, guess there's only one thing left to do now. Allow Zoolax 1 Free to take pictures and record video. What? I guess it's so the spooky clowns can spy on me while I jam out to music cleaning the bathroom. I guess we live in a world without privacy anyway, so what the heck. Ooh boy. Nothing scarier than some horror stock music coming through an iPad speaker. Let's turn out the lights and boot up a brand new game. And now that I've started playing the game, I'm disappointed I was even slightly interested. The gameplay is absolutely boring, with no sense of fear, despite it being something I've never played. And I was absolutely terrified to play any of the FNAF games before I'd tried them. And even then, it took a long time to be as chill as I am with them now. It's so much creepier in VR. Oh my god! Okay, even now I'm not really chill. The environment is stupidly over the top. According to the fake phone guy, this place is supposed to be an antique shop, which is absolute BS. There's catacombs under the darn place, and overall this looks more like a museum. And I get that maybe the guy is supposed to be lying to you about it being an antique shop, but it's so unbelievable that it's just dumb. And then you have the blatant horror tropes of, oh, this picture moves sometimes, we don't really know why, and when it does, bad things happen for, some reason. So yeah, fix it.
If the dolls feel you are not checking on them, horrible things can happen.
Oh, that's a shame.
And then you got your blood smears all over the place, specifically the toilet, which isn't scary because, you know, human biology. And to top off the tropes, you got the typical ear-bleeding jump scares, which I don't judge too much being a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, but these are on another level of stupidity. As for the characters, I personally didn't find their design to be scary or unnerving, anything of that sort. So as you can tell, heck no is this game better than Five Nights at Freddy's 1, or any of the games in that matter. FNAF World was hated by many, and I bet most of those haters would still rate this game 10 times lower. For a horror game, this is quite the snooze fest. Oh, and did I mention you can pay to get an ad-less version? I'm actually shocked this hasn't been taken down, as Scott has clearly stated in the past that he would not allow paid-for fan games of any kind. Guess they've just flown under the radar, for now. As for the ridiculous amount of reviews about this game being 5 stars, if I had to guess, I'd say many of them are fake, and or kids who really want to play Five Nights at Freddy's and are willing to take any kind of free bootleg version they can get their hands on. Kids can find enjoyment in basically anything. Now that we played what I thought was going to be the more interesting of these apps, let's try one that looks the least promising. Maybe we'll be surprised. Five Nights at Flappys! Yeah, you heard me right. Remember that one game? Flappy Bird? Early 2010s? Yeah, I thought I'd made it out good without having ever played it. But now we gotta play what I presume its horribly mutilated clone. Yay! Okay, I hate to say it, but I was right. The game I had the least expectations for is actually the better one. Good, in fact. You know, for a Flappy Bird's clone. But the design of this game overall is quite appealing. When you die, there's a goofy little jump scare that I think was wonderfully drawn and hilarious. Looking at the character roster, it seems like you can unlock many more characters to play, which is really neat. I'd show you the unlocked characters, but, as you can tell, I'm not very good at this game. But aside from all the praises, there is one thing that really bothers me. Can you spot it? Yeah, it's awkwardly quiet. There's no music, which isn't a big deal, as most people play mobile games with the sound off, but it's strange because there was such an inviting title screen with great music, only to drop you into a weirdly silent game. A minor nitpick, yes, but other than that, this is a pretty cute game for those of you who enjoy Flappy Bird. Alright, who's our next victim? How about Run Run Freddy, which is apparently Run Run Freddy 5. Where are the other 4? And judging by the name of this app, you'd assume maybe you're looking at another clone of, let's say, Temple Runner. But you'd be wrong. I'll let the description explain. You like Freddy and Runner type of games. This is an amazing game for you.
Why the f you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop lying.
So let's just give it a try. Next up, similar to Zoolax, is your run-of-the-mill Five Nights clone. You've got your night shift guard position, your cameras, and your spooky characters. But in this game's case, even the name is lacking any creativity. Five Nights at Pizzeria. Ooh, scary. And scary it was. Horrifyingly boring! Which I've come to realize most of these games are. Like I mentioned before, this is just your typical FNAF clone. But the worst part is, this game is soulless. Unlike Zoolax, which at least tried to have its own story and unique characters, this game did none of that. You've got your cookie-cutter restaurant layout and lame office. And for your one and only enemy, a fat yellow cartoon rabbit who just makes you want to laugh rather than scream. Who was also probably inspired by Springtrap. Once again solidifying the idea that this game's creator had zero creativity. And similar to some of the other games, I'm quite offended by the sound design. Or the lack of it. Now, I'm not gonna bash my boy Kevin. It's not his fault that the game designer just looped one of his horror themes and clocked out for the night. Yeah, no click sound effects, no light or door sound effects. The single sound effect the game designer did make, however, may convince you it was for the best that he did none otherwise. Enjoy. Can you guess where that was used in-game? Yep, I didn't edit that. And that was Five Nights at Pizzeria, the most soulless clone I've met yet. Let's play a more unique game next. Hopefully not one like Run Run Freddy 5. How about Freddy Horror Fake Call? I'm in the mood for some real spooks. Ah, that's depressing. Guess this one's a dud. Maybe the next best thing will be Freddy Evolution. Okay. I guess I'm just supposed to figure out what's going on here? This is the weirdest game I've ever played. I'm just supposed to open a bunch of boxes when they appear, and apparently you can combine them to become something better. This is just the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and here I thought humans were smarter than this. Okay, let's take a break and play something a bit more down to earth. Something my brain can process properly. How about some trivia? So this game isn't that bad. You know, minus the sound effects that might blow out your small child's ears. The game is really at a kindergarten level. If your kid can spell, they're going to know most, if not all, the answers to these questions. How's this even? This isn't trivia! So if you're older than 6, don't waste your time, because most of it will be spent waiting for the ads to finish anyway. So without further ado, let's get to the app that made this video. Yes, you heard me correct. It's time for some Surprise Eggs Freddy toys. Okay, well, that was extremely underwhelming. A theme of this video. Although the music seems to think otherwise. I mean, I can't really say I had the biggest expectations for this game. I was prepared to laugh at it. But surprisingly, there's nothing to laugh at. It's just boring and dumb. You click what you think might be inside the egg you're about to open, and you basically have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it correct. Then, whatever you get correct goes into your collection. Which, just from that explanation, I can see why maybe some of our younger FNAF fans may feel this game is addictive, as it's triggering our completionist need. And hey, I get that. I'm not saying I would become addicted to collecting random images of FNAF characters. The main reason why is the method. A 1 in 4 dice roll isn't exciting, especially when you're listening to these sound effects for hours while you do it. One thing I can appreciate this game for, however, is its inclusion of some of the very, very obscure FNAF characters, and some mildly interesting fan characters. And, of course, for making this video happen. Therefore, I rate this game a solid 2 out of 10. Hey, look at that! At least you're not entirely a failure. Okay, Let's play a few more games tonight. We still have basically a full screen of apps to play. How about another classic clone? Nights at Cube Pizzeria 4, most likely a Minecraft version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Wow, that was actually not that bad. And by that, I mean judging by today's standards, so it's not bad compared to the other garbage we've played. Of course, this game is obviously just a Minecraft-themed FNAF game, which gives it the excuse to come up with zero of its own mechanics and the blocky design. But overall, what makes this game better than, let's say, Five Nights at Pizzeria, is that it has sound design. It tries to be scary, and maybe to younger players, it is. I think its biggest flaw and fear factor is the way the characters attack you. They sort of just wander into your room and stand beside you screaming. Nothing about that is scary. Through some of the cameras in-game, you can come across excessive amounts of blood puddles and a few dead bodies to help unnerve you. But that's just a horror trope, and surely not scary. Subtlety is key, guys. The game designers did try their hand at some humor, but, well, I'll let you decide if this is funny. Yeah! And the toilet sound effect I like to play multiple times throughout your nights. Nice. But overall, this game is fine. You get what was claimed and nothing more. Now, I actually want to play one of the games I was looking forward to the most with this video. 5 Tries at Love. Yeah, there's a dating sim with FNAF characters. Judging by the fact that this game was made, I assume someone out there, somewhere in this wide world, is attracted to FNAF characters. Attracted. But let's not get too caught up on the reason this game exists. Let's play this game and pray to God I don't have to censor anything. Looking at you, Five Nights in Anime. Well, hello! This game is actually not that bad. It's probably the most playable game thus far. As you could probably tell, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is good, considering that it's a dating sim with robot animals. Even though I say it's playable, I still wouldn't call it fun or super fun. But it's decent. I think it actually would be fun if the dialogue and interactions were more diverse, instead of a more linear, storybook type chain of events. You actually have to go find the character you're interested in talking to and bother them over and over until they like you. Literally. Which means you don't actually get to say anything to them, you just click talk over and over again. With one exception, but we'll get to that. Throughout your 5 nights, you have only a certain amount of power, and talking to each character costs a bit each night. The goal is to have one character like you by the end of the game, which is actually a piece of cupcake considering the only obstacle you have is Balloon Man? If you run into him, you have to buy a gift, or else you die. In a surprisingly hilarious way. So in order to not lose, you need to sweep the floors before each night to have at least enough Pokey dollars to afford his cheapest gift. If you buy the item gift box from him, you'll get one of 3 things: a band-aid, pizza, or flower. Each of which has a corresponding character who loves that item. Freddy likes the pizza, obviously, Springtrap likes the flower, and Foxy likes band-aids. For whatever reason. So for my first playthrough, I chose the character I got an item for first. This helped boost the love percentage right away. The first night I spent entirely on sweeping, and earned me enough money for the rest of the game. While playing through the game, I came to realize a few things. For one, you could just leave Gift Boy's room instead of answering him, so he was no longer really an obstacle. And second, finding the character you want can be so tricky it can wipe out half your power, as changing rooms takes a small amount. Near the upper love percentages, the character you choose will start asking you multiple choice questions about themselves. And if you answer wrong, a chunk of the love is taken out, and vice versa. so it's at least mildly important to listen to them talk. At least a little. Once you've got your character swooning over you at 100% love, you're finally rewarded with the end scene. I'm just kidding. Freddy just kisses the screen over and over in a goofy manner, which is perfect for this type of game. Like I said, I enjoyed the fact that this game doesn't take itself seriously, making it decently fun. Each character has a different ending and personality, albeit oftentimes one note. And after picking the game apart, I present to you the Hall of Fame of hilarious remarks by FNaF characters. If you were a booger, I'd pick you first, baby. Hehe, I love playgrounds and little children. Did you fart? 'Cause you blew me away. I wanna live your socks, so I can be with you every step of the way. So if you do check this game out, don't play beyond the first set of characters. And the reason why is because they are very boring. The dialogue was way less interesting, less goofy, more edgy, and just boring. It's not worth your time. However, this game made me smile. It made me look forward to what crazy or goofy things the characters would say or do next. Obviously, it's pretty basic and ad-plastered, but I personally found it fun. Geez, I never thought I'd spend so much time playing just one of the apps in this video. Let's take a break and look at something we all know will be quick. Foxy Go Game. Yeah, you can go now. Now for those of you who've been keeping an eye on my screen, you may notice that some of the games disappeared without us trying them. This is because those games wouldn't even open or run. And some of you with a keen eye may have spotted this gem. Merge Ball Freddy. Or like the App Store prefers to call it, Merge Freddy's Balls. I don't think this game will be advertiser friendly. Oh, come on! Fine, we'll merge some balls. This game is odd, but also kind of addicting. It took me ages to figure out what my goal was, and I'm still not even really sure. I kept losing the game, saying that I suck, but then one time it congratulated me, so that's telling. I assumed you want to make the little heads giant, so you make them merge, but at some point they get too big and break? And apparently that's what you're supposed to do, break the largest heads and then you get some extra mini heads to keep playing. This is for sure a weird game to involve FNaF characters. And there's more than likely an actual game this game is replicating, but being a mobile game noob like myself, I wouldn't know. I think it's time for another spooky game. Five Nights at Freddy's is horror after all. How about FnaFoo Froggy 2? Okay, so that was interesting. At first the game seemed promising, despite the antagonist seemingly being a plush frog with a missing eye. But the office we played in really caught my eye. Everything was well designed. The atmosphere was flawless, even creepy at times. The power seemed to shut down randomly and would need rebooting. And the camera systems were really nicely done, being realistic and easy to control. However, when nothing more than power outages happened the first night, I was confused as to what I was supposed to be doing. Then suddenly the night ended and I was brought to this screen. Okay? WTF? And then, like I mentioned before, it got weirder. At this point, I wandered around and finally figured out where to go, to find myself at the start of night 2. The plushies were actually out. In other words, poorly photoshopped into the images the cameras were. They moved very quickly through the ventilation, and I scrambled to protect myself. from holding the door shut to rescrewing the vent back on, all the while legitimately getting nervous. The sounds in-game are creepy, and the speed at which these characters move is frightening. And finally, the time came to die. Darn! This game was getting pretty frickin' creepy. And that requires a lot from the game designer, so color me impressed. You know, except for that awful jump scare. I can't help but be reminded of Markiplier's FNaF musical from this, based off the fact that the enemies here are just goofy looking plushies. Their design definitely takes any possible fear out of the picture. So if you think you have a weaker hide than me and want to be scared for free, this isn't a bad option. I imagine the further you get, the more the story will make sense. But to be honest, I'm just not interested enough. Maybe I'll watch a Let's Play sometime. Next, Zombie Freddy. A game with awful controls where you shoot zombie FNaF characters. I think I found a loophole in my first 20 seconds of playing. Let's give 8 Horror Nights at School a go. Are you kidding me? It's another rehash of Cubies. How many of these are there? I found another one earlier that I removed because it was even more similar to the last. And this one has only changed the location and character models. Sounds, mechanics, etc. all the same. Except the jump scare sound. This one is different. Man, we are blowing through these now. These are the trashiest of the trashes. Kinda like this one. Emoji Survival. This game is exactly what you and I expected. It's a FNaF ripoff with emojis as your enemies. And that's it. Oh, you wanted me to go on? Well, that's all there is to it. The game otherwise is bland, lifeless, empty, and boring. The mechanics work just fine, though I'd have a hard time believing you if you told me you lost on night 1 or 2. There's quite a few overpowered tools at your disposal against these yellow cringe balls. But in order to balance the game, the designers opted into that, "Oh, they break sometimes for some reason" explanation. In fact, on night 3 alone, every single tool breaks except the lure option to make them mildly go away, which, despite my best efforts, didn't work at all. So I stopped trying. At least it was mildly amusing to trap those steaming piles of poo for about 3 seconds. Speaking of poo, brace your ears for a glimpse at this sound design. Definitely not a game I will ever come back to. Now you may have noticed that game was advertising another app I had already downloaded, and I had no idea these were made by the same people. Which now makes me have a suspicion that they're going to be copy-paste games like Cubies. Yep, exactly the same. Except that this game is much less scary. Pac-Man enemies? Cute. Emojis? Jokes aside, this game is as lifeless as the last, and is very obviously a quick hunk of junk for some spare change. However, if you're interested in playing a FNaF ripoff, this isn't as bad as some of the previous options. Now let's try out another weird one. How about Verby Freddy? If the name didn't clue you into what's in store, maybe the description will. You like Freddy type of games. This is an amazing game for you. Now, obviously this isn't the same game as before, but it's just as random and has no business involving FNaF characters. Ugh, get out of here. Let's try a game that might be a bit more promising, at least according to this guy. Now, this is a very clear custom night clone, and it isn't trying to be sneaky about it. Before you're allowed to customize your night, you have to beat night 1, which is just... well, let me explain. Each night is 7 minutes long, which just feels like 7 years, especially on night 1, where all you have to do is reset the vents if it gets dark, and open your camera if Bubbly shows up. That's it. 7 minutes. Heck, I just played this level while scrolling through Instagram. It's that hands-off. Hopefully it'll be more interesting with all the characters? This game is actually not that bad. It could be worse. However, the controls and difficulty made it nearly unplayable. Andiematronic's Corrupted is very glitchy with its controls. How you're supposed to quickly check the doors and get to the camera without dying is beyond me. Even when they're only turned up to level 3. Yeah, I couldn't beat them on level 3 out of 20. Although I admit I didn't try for long, for reasons we'll get to now. The overall design is just... what were they thinking? Things are stretched too long and can't be read. The music is literally just music from Custom Night. The sound effects are all mooched off Scott. The character models are all grabbed from someone online. The office is barren, and the wall texture is sized so laughably incorrect it's almost offensive. Nothing about this game is appealing. Just shell out a few bucks for a real FNAF game. Or, heck, get yourself the free FNAF AR game. Here you'll just waste your time being annoyed that you can't beat Night 2 in this dumpster fire.
Alrighty then.
What about this oddly named one here? Sky Hover Freddy? Alright, I'm ready for another scary one. How about Five Nights Haunted House? Whoa. First of all, stop right there. That looks way too real. There's no way they used an actual missing persons article, right? Oh my gosh, this is real. This is a real missing girl. She was only 14 years old when she was kidnapped and stabbed to death. This is absolutely disgusting. You don't just throw in articles of real tragedies into your crappy rip-off FNAF game. Not to mention, 2 of them. The next article is also a real person who really went missing, was later found dead, and was the mother of 2 very young children. All of this for your moronic, stupid ass died in a fire nonsense that doesn't even make sense. Why would they be missing persons if they passed away in a fire? Oh, and then they say that these 2 lovely ladies are now ghosts haunting this game? I'm sorry, but I'm not even giving this game a second more of our time. Game creator, if you're out there, clean up your act and grow some respect. Jeez, I really didn't think I'd be getting legitimately upset today, considering the goofy, silly harmlessness of mobile games. But let's try to move on and make the rest of this video a much lighter tone. Let's pick the goofiest of these last 4 to start off. This is a hard decision because all of these look goofy. I guess we'll just go with Flippy Freddy. And as expected, it's another game that involves FNAF characters for absolutely no reason, with the exact same pixely characters as the other games we played tonight. Just plain weird. Someone somewhere is blasting out these games for a quick cash grab. Even the game itself is weird and feels half-baked. You can only move 2 ways, either diagonally jump or forward 1 and back 1. This is already weird, but I guess they had to introduce some kind of challenge into getting past basic obstacles, and make you feel rushed, your health quickly goes down. You know, to get you to the mads sooner. This game is very dull. I wasn't even inclined to attempt to win level 1, if there even are any other levels past this. Let's get to this hopeless wreck next. Pawnee Freddy Memory Game. Oh man, what have I gotten myself into? Honestly, I'd added this game in as a joke to poke fun at the dumb FNAF pony trend, but unrestrained, this would surely hurl me into a mini rant that could double this video length. I'm still gonna complain, of course. What exactly do murderous animatronic mascot characters have in common with girly-themed mini-horses from a child's TV show? I imagine the only reason this exists is because a tiny portion of the MLP and FNAF fandom shares some people. But boy, does it create some true entertainment for us FNAF fans. And by entertainment, I mean physical pain from the cringe. Don't you guys just love chest-stabbing pain? I mean, just look at the Hall of Fame of these beautiful masterpieces. Such as, look, my OC's part of the FNAF gang. You like our well eye and its mind-boggling red and orange blob. Please kill me. And the squad. And Bane the Mustang. Along with a few other questionable images. And I didn't even bother to get them all, so who knows what we didn't get to see. Overall, this game was exactly what it said it was. Flipping awful images to match them up. Riveting. Oh, thank goodness, guys, we're almost done. When I first started this adventure, I didn't actually plan on trying all these games. It just kinda happened. And now all we have left is Freddy Craft. Praise the Lord Almighty! Except for the fact that we don't know what we're about to get into. I really hope it won't be as bad as the last one. You've gotta be kidding! Alright, no. I'm out. But wait, I'm back! I gotta make the outro, of course. And man, oh man, do I have a lot to pack into these last few minutes. First off, you guys rock. Thank you so much for the 500,000 subscribers. That number is just mind-boggling, and I was more than satisfied at 300k, despite both of those numbers being incomprehensible. Secondly, I have a second channel. Yes! And the crazy part is, it's been running since February. I just haven't had the chance to announce it. If you're craving more content from me, go check it out. It's a vlogish style channel all about Pokemon Go and the many adventures it takes me on. Please go have a look and tell me what you think. Goodbye for now, everyone. I'll miss you all. Time to go work on the next one. Have yourselves an awesome night. Bye! You want to play more games? Me too. You just have to wait till October. That's when they have the best games. You want to play some Monopoly?